Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian and welcome once more to our webinar Pricing in 10 Minutes. And today I'd like to guide you through our framework for developing a new price model. So this can be applied for developing a price model for the very first time, but it also can make sense to change your price model after a certain time when, for example, your annual price increase is getting harder and harder to justify over time, when your price model is not in line with your company strategy anymore, when your pricing may not be attracting new customers anymore, or when you're moving from a certain customer segment into a new one, very common enterprise to SME, and so on and so on. And it may be worth it, as I'll be showing in a few minutes. We've seen changing price models and price metrics everywhere in all industries. Today, as always, we're focusing a little bit more on digital business models, but we've seen it here in heating systems, medical products, aircraft engines, automotive, everywhere. A few examples, Michelin's fleet services used to be charging by tire. They were selling them or renting them. Later on, they were selling service packages, which have been monetized by charged or by kilometer of the tire usage. Similar for Enercon, wind park operator. They were selling and the costs of wind parks and to develop them. Now they are charging by the yield of the wind park. So very value based. We've seen this for Immobilien Scout 24. They used to be charging by slot, so basically by garage places they were selling or renting out to their realtors. Today on the right hand side they have individual memberships based on all data they know from real estate agents, and thus they are charging very individually to every real estate agent. We've seen eBay changing its price model a long time ago, abolishing the listing fees, so for inserting a new item on the platform. And you see here from the curve that the number of listings grew by 90% at that time, a very successful price model change. And one evergreen that has been repeated by many software companies, Adobe has abolished its good old license model and turned it into a subscription, which was very successful. And as mentioned, all software companies by now are doing it more or less the same. And now the question is how to develop a new price model. We have a framework which follows 8 steps, and I guide you through it in the next few minutes. First step is you need to align on your strategy. What are the guidelines? What are your goals? Before you do any price and product design, you should start with the goal setting. Secondly, look at competition, what they are actually doing in terms of price model and levels to take better decisions afterwards. Thirdly, look at your product offering, your packaging. How do you create packages? How do you differentiate them to different target segments? Number 4, price metrics. So how do you actually charge? So by hour, by user, by transaction. So what's the part that is shown on the invoice? Number 5, the price point and the discounts behind it. No surprise. Number 6, price differentiation. So how do you monetize different target segments with a fitting price? Number 7, once you have created a pricing prototype, how do you validate it? And lastly, how do you ensure that the price model is a sales success and so that the team is prepared for selling it to your clients? I go through it through the 8 steps very briefly. What you get out of such a process looks usually like this. So this is just a one-pager. If you go through all 8 steps, you will see the packages here. You see the different items in the different packages here. You see price points per package. You see additional prices that are not within the packages. You see a discount strategy here. So everything is basically then condensed onto one page or one selling page on your website in most of the cases, for example, here in this software case. First step is strategy setting. So you see here a few, let's say, price strategic cornerstones On the one hand side, you should align yourself. Are you doing this entire repricing because of profitability or volume reasons? Do you believe your new business comes from new customers, or will the new pricing help you in cross and upselling your existing customer base? Do you want to be positioned below your competition in terms of price level or above? Do you want to have the same price for all customers, or do you want to be very customer specific? Do you want to be transparent on your pricing and show it to everybody, which is more an attacker strategy, or do you want to be very opaque? And lastly, what's your discount strategy? Do you follow a clear no discount strategy or a high discount strategy? And once you've set these, let's say, cornerstones, it will help you designing your pricing way easily, because it takes out a lot of options you then do not have to discuss anymore afterwards. Secondly, look at competition, look at your competitive landscape. It may be the first step, maybe looking at their website. Maybe you need some software to crawl prices if you are in e-commerce or retail. Maybe you need to do some mystery shopping. Either way, try to better understand what your competition is doing in terms of pricing. Step number 3, decide how you want to package your products. So, for example, number 1, pick and choose, show every feature, every item be selectable individually. Or number 4, do you want to create classic good, better, best packages? There are obviously also other ways to do so. Decide on your price metric, and again, the metric, as you can see here on the left hand side, is what you actually charge. Do you charge per company, per user, per sale, per lead, per whatever? Create a list of all the metrics that can make sense, and then see, like here on the upper side, what are the goals that a metric should in the end fulfill. For example, technical feasibility. Is it measurable? Is it scalable? Does it scale with added value? Is it acceptable for customers? Is it simple and easy to understand? And then assess the different price metrics, either with colors here, or for example with a scorecard, and then decide what's the best metric. Obviously, you need to develop price points for your products, for your packages. You can do this with a lot of different ways. You can do price value or price retention rates, as you can see here, or price revenue assessments. With which price do I create which revenue? You can do Van Westendorp analysis. You can do Garber-Granger analysis in surveys, for example. We come to that later in the validation part. Discuss with your clients what a possible conversion or later on churn rate could be. But in the end, you need to find a price point for your different packages. The price point does not necessarily have to be applicable to all your clients, but it can be applicable to a part only, and then you can differentiate by, for example, the technology you're using, the health score of the client, the industry of the client, the country, and many other factors. So think about the different factors that make sense for price differentiation, and then you can apply it either for your official price model or as a discount factor allowance, so that your sales also has some options depending on what kind of client they're talking to give some discounts. Then validate your pricing with your customers. So far it's a pricing prototype that you're creating in the first 6 steps. Then go to your clients and validate it, for example, in online market research, in in-depth customer interviews, in focus groups, conduct A/B tests or online price experiments. There are a lot of ways how you can validate your pricing and to take it then to the final steps. Questions we are typically asking are about the usage habits of a client, or value proposition compared to competition, structural price model changes. We test for acceptance, willingness to pay. We obviously test if the price points we have in our pricing prototype are working with the clients, and we segment our clients by whatever functions and other price points, not price points, but other factors, so that we can also differentiate our products and prices accordingly. Finally, create some tools to pave the way for implementation and for internal acceptance. For the financial team, a business case tool can make sense to see what's the old price, what's the new price for every single client. For sales, here in the middle, a pricing tool that does not only show what the new pricing is for a client, but also what arguments your sales team can use, and also what are maybe alternatives that the sales team and the client may have to better accept the new price point. And for the tech and product team, a roadmap. So what happens between, let's say, developing the new price model and the implementation, show very clearly what the next steps are, so that everybody knows what to do in the implementation phase. It's worth it, I can tell you. Usually we generate upsides in revenue, especially for new clients first, and then as a second step with the existing customer base, between 25 and 50% with developing new price models, digital price models. That's why check it out. It's definitely worth doing it. If you want to learn more about pricing, also watch the other videos or get in touch. And then I'm happy to speak with you about how to set up a new price model. Take care. Speak soon.